COINTELPRO stands for Counterintelligence Program, and it's basically an infiltration method used against radical groups and civil rights groups of the 60s and whatever. Many of us know about their manipulation, the federal manipulation of groups like the Ku Klux Klan, but many of us are unaware of COINTELPRO in regards to the internet. Well, here's just a few articles. Exhibit A is Hal Turner. This guy gets arrested for making threats against a judge, and then it turns out that he was an FBI provocateur, and he's basically paid by the FBI to spew hate on the internet. Here's an article from Wired magazine regarding a 2006 report for the Joint Special Operations University. Blogs and Military Information Strategy. And then you see where it says right there, hiring a block of bloggers to verbally attack a specific person or promote a specific message may be worth considering. Well, they're already doing it. Blogs are CENTCOM's new target, and here's one from the Department of Defense's own website. CENTCOM team engages bloggers. And here's the Israeli government admitting to doing the same. That commentator on your blog may actually be working for the Israeli government. And if you look, it says, Israeli students and demobilized soldiers get paid to pretend that they are just regular folks and leave pro-Israel comments on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and other sites. And, when asked about how these people are going to act on the internet, here's what was said. Will the responders who are hired for this also present themselves as ordinary net surfers? Of course. Our people will not say, hello, I am from the Policy Explanation Department of the Israeli Foreign Ministry, and I want to tell you the following, and their mission, monitoring, and fostering discussions. So while you're wasting your time arguing the finer points of the collapse of Building 7, or the quagmire in Iraq with someone who seems unable to grasp the basic principles, your foe could well be sat behind a plush U.S. government desk in a uniform. Their mission statement is simple. Clutter up the search engines by making fake conspiracy vids and sites. They make deliberately bad videos that are designed to scare away newcomers, make people think that, conspiracy theorists are just, making something out of nothing and overanalyzing. So when you go looking for the truth, all you find are big lies. Their second job is disinformation and misdirection. They insert lies and infiltrate into already currently existing movements like the 9/11 nuke story, the nuclear weapons detonating at 9/11, or the aliens at 9/11 story. These were all disinfo. Their third job is to scare away newcomers, people who are, finding out the truth for the very first time when they come up and they stumble on their posts and their sites full of nothing but craziness. It just scares people away. They pose as conspiracy theorists and they curse a lot while they're conspiracy theorists, or at least posing as them. They speak intelligently when they're scoffing at conspiracy theorists, and they speak poorly and stupidly when they're posing as them. Their fourth job is infighting, and basically they just say that everybody's disinfo. Everybody's just, working for the bad guys, and that's what they go around doing so that they can stir up distrust among everybody. They also like to pose as anarchists, communists, Marxists, and anti-Semites. And they also like to associate conspiracy theorists and conspiracy theories with anarchy and communism and Marxism and anti-Semitism. They like to incite religious and racial tension. You'll see them just go from place to place talking bad things about Jesus, or it'll be against whitey or against blacks. They like to go around promoting atheism. Their job is to incite racial tension and to have newcomers associate conspiracy theorists with these racial tension and with the religious bigoted statements and whatever. You'll find them everywhere. Forums, YouTube. Their job is just basically to create tensions and stupid petty fights. They go around voting down good videos and voting up bad videos. You see them a lot, like especially LiveLink, where you'll post a video, and if it has something to do with conspiracy theories, within 24 hours you'll have 5 or 6 scoffers show up, and then after that it's just crickets and tumbleweeds. There's no posts after that, as if there's a group of people who are out there just checking to make sure the very newest videos and posting a little bit on each and then just moving on. So you could tell that there's an agenda there, because you would think that the scoffers would show up once a month, once every 2 months, but no, they show up within hours, and then the video could be there 18 months later and not a single comment. So, and in places like dig.com, they'll actually call themselves COINTELPRO agent. And if you look at the kind of stuff they post, it's pretty typical of what you'd expect. They pretty much just go looking for anything having to do with Israel, 9/11, Ron Paul, and bash us. They like to keep video makers and websites busy with nonsense, and one of their favorite things is to call for violence. You know, only the feds think to do it, and only the feds get away with it, because if anybody else calls for violence on the internet, you're going to have goonballs at your door. So when you see someone who's calling for violence, usually that's one of them. Here's some tips. If somebody's making comments that are a little too ignorant, don't respond. Don't indulge these guys. These guys' job is to waste your time and to keep you misled, misdirected, and busy. Don't let it work. Don't make a threat on the internet. Do not make threats. And do not make contact with people who do. Here's some general tips to protect yourself. Passwords. Passwords should be always greater than or equal to 8 characters, including 1 number, 1 lowercase, and 1 uppercase letter. The numbers should not be associated with your age or date of birth. The words should not be a word at all, or a name. Instead, use sentences. Like, for example, the first letter of a sentence, maybe from your favorite movie, your favorite song. Like, for example, say your favorite song was Civil War from Guns N' Roses. One of the sentences is, I don't need your Civil War. Now, IDNYCW. That's the first letter from each word in the sentence. Followed up by the year the song came out. It's a good password. Encryption. Your data is vulnerable until it's encrypted. The 2 main standards, or at least the best ones, are AES and Blowfish. The key size should be at least 256-bit or greater. There's many programs out there that do encryption. They can do virtual drives, encrypted files, and encrypted folders. One of them is TrueCrypt from truecrypt.org. It's also available on my website, so that's a good program to use. And remember, just because you deleted a file and then removed it from your recycling bin doesn't mean the file is actually gone. The data is still there, but the reference to the file is gone. You need a file shredding program, and there's many out there. There's a little-known spy effort going on between the NATO nations, mainly, and the NSA called Echelon. This system uses word and voice recognition and can scan cell phones, emails, chats, searches, pretty much everything. General tips for getting around this stuff. Deliberate misspellings in text, random punctuation marks and spaces. This kind of stuff can fool computer programs. Use code words instead of the real words, and get a firewall. This won't help you in terms of being scanned, but they sure are useful.
Information moving at the speed of light, humanity is able to see the truth about the world faster and quicker than ever before throughout history. But there is a dark side to this new day and age of information, and in this video we're going to tell you how the powers that be, the governments, the corporate controllers, the very people on top are using this as a way to control and manipulate you. Obviously, we know many people have moved away from television and are getting most of their information and news from the internet. We know that people are losing attention spans on the television mainly because it is so full of manipulation, propaganda, and full all-out crap. We even had a top journalist, Dr. Rudolf Ufertek, in Germany, who said that everything you see on the mainstream media on television is completely fake. He went on public television stating that he was forced to publish the works of intelligence agents under his name, also adding that non-compliance with these orders would result with him losing his job. With television and the mainstream media failing, everyone is going online, and of course that powers that be know about this, and they are manipulating you online. It is just being revealed. We have been talking about this for a number of years now, but it's finally being revealed by some news sources that the United States has spy operations that manipulate social media. The federal government is hiring internet trolls to monitor and correct online discussion. When they mean correct, they mean utterly lie to you and discourage any kind of critical thinking and accountability that would make them actually do the job that they're supposed to do. And this is the information that is just coming out right now with CIA agents to troll alternative media sites in huge propaganda program. This program existed before, and they are expanding it right now in order to influence not only mainstream media outlets to promote fake propaganda stories, but by having agents troll internet forums, social media, and website comment sections in an effort to disrupt alternative media sites. This has been in play for a very, very long time, and now it is being expanded to a massive level, and we will explain why in just a few moments. Now, the U.S. government, we were reporting on this back in 2011 because we saw how the U.S. government was actually offering private intelligence companies contracts to create software in order to manage fake people on social media sites. And ever since then, the United States military handed out $2.76 million in a contract to a California company named Nipriprid to develop software to manipulate social media networks with fake accounts that would spread American propaganda. This blueprint was actually started by Cass Sunstein, Obama's former information czar, who wrote the white paper on how to infiltrate and stop people with alternative views. He wrote the white paper pretty much detailing how government agents need to be online trolling people who want a new investigation of 9/11, who want accountability from our very government, people who raise things that are against the status quo. The government needs to send in agents in order to disrupt what they're saying online and lie and manipulate in order to discourage the discourse. He also advocated for specifically having government agents infiltrate real life groups. I asked him, how dare he even believe in this? And the response he gave me was utterly shocking. But as we know, it's not only to disrupt the dialogue that's happening on the forums, on social networks, in the comment sections, discouraging any critical thinking. It's also a program where government agencies target individuals that have not committed any crime to destroy their reputation, to infiltrate the political communities, to develop techniques to manipulate online discourse, and they're doing all of this with no public knowledge or accountability, and it is not justified in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, discourse brings a better discussion to a greater truth. It helps people understand the situation and find solutions. What the government is doing is writing a blank check for their corruption, for their misdeeds, in order to be more criminal. They already are extremely criminal. Right now, another way that the internet is being manipulated is that every high-profile U.S. terror plot that the U.S. government said that they have disrupted was actually created by the very agency. They are entrapping people, setting them up, and they are making up these terror plots using dummies as a way to fall into their trap and doing everything under sting operations and manipulating people, setting them in jail for the rest of their lives. We have to understand the term conspiracy theory, which Cass Sunstein was using as a way to justify the spying, the infiltrating, the cognitive dissonance against political speech, was actually created by the CIA after the JFK assassination in order to debunk alternative views that threaten the establishment. This is a well-known truth, and as we know, that's the major power that the government has. They are censoring any important online discourse with social media, and this is a huge power that they have. Even a Harvard law professor recently, Jonathan Zitran, has explored on how Google and Facebook alone could influence an election by customizing search results of news and swinging undecided voters to one side or another. The power of the internet is vast, is huge, and the powers that be are using this as a way to get rid of any critical thinking, any alternative view. Anyone who goes against the status quo will have government agents using tax dollars in order to troll them, in order to manipulate people, in order to show people that there aren't enough people waking up. Let me tell you this. This is the most important news that you guys need to understand. People around the world, and I've known this because I've been all around the world and I've been meeting people everywhere, are waking up to the lie that government is. They are waking up to the corporate destruction that's happening to our environment, to our planet. They are waking up every single day in larger numbers than before, and the government sees this as a threat, and that's why they're pulling all the stops right now, expanding their domestic spying program, expanding their discourse program, expanding their trolls online, because they want you to feel alone. They want you to feel sad and depressed, to make you believe that there's no one else out there who thinks critically, who questions government. But guess what? That is the biggest lie, and that's what's going to take them down. Share this video with your friend, and you could actually be the change you want to see in this world and start making progress and change in this world by being the media that you want to see in this world. Thank you for supporting this real and independent media organization that's presented for you and by you, financed by you. Subscribe. We're going to have a lot more information coming here your way.